To know who we are, and where we're going, we must know how we arrived here. Welcome to Rephetic, a revolutionary study of the Great Pyramid, which promises to rewrite civilization's history. Wade.
Hey.
The infamous Wade, welcome Dave. To the Rephetic podcast.
Rephetic, that's a good word.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a unique word.
What do you mean?
I don't.
Tell me more. Tell the audience.
I don't know if I've ever heard that word before.
Right.
Yeah. Did you come up with that?
Yeah, it's a made-up word, dude. Come on.
For real. Nice.
Isn't that what writers are supposed to do?
Mm.
Do you want to know what it means?
I do.
The audience already knows what it means because I explained it to Todd.
Oh, I didn't. My bad.
That's fine. I can do it again. Anyway, short version, it is antithetical to prophetic. Prophetic, predict the future. Rephetic, anything that rewrites our understanding of the past.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
honest disclosure. How cool is that?
Yeah.
I know nothing about that.
We're all going to find out about it. Dude, you are awesome. You are maybe the coolest guy that I know. Just saying, show us some tats. You got your thing. Come on.
Little swag.
Little cool. Musician.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What are you doing today?
So today has been a great day. So today I was off. I played last night. I did, what was that, Town Square? You ever been there?
Maybe.
No, Dardine Prairie, there by the Target and the movie theater.
I've been there. I've seen you there.
Yes. You and Patty came
Mm-hmm.
Played there last night. I'm off today. Schedule's starting to pick up. I'm playing tomorrow through the weekend until like next Wednesday. But today, man, got up. Been kind of piecing things back together. Did some breathing exercises that really helped me. And then been lifting. This has been about
I can tell.
a month and a half. Getting kind of back into that. I went and got... See, it's weird for me. Like, call this lazy procrastination, call it whatever. But, like, the whole gym thing, like, the way my life is, like, if I've got to travel... like, if you're like, hey, man, it's 20 minutes away, it's a trip. And it's like, it just takes the fun out of it. So I manipulated myself. So I was like, you know what? Went and got a little adjustable bench, got a little dumbbell thing that you can adjust. It was like 44, whatever. And it doesn't feel like a chore at all. Like
So do it at
home? Yeah, just at home throughout the day. I got
15,
a little spot.
20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes, man. And like, I've been doing it every day without even thinking about it. And it's like, I've been sitting on going and working out for 10 years now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why running's so awesome, because I can just walk out and go. I don't have to drive.
Go somewhere.
It's weird.
It's an event.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the most consistent.
Yeah, but you go to the gym, though. You know what I'm saying?
The most consistent thing in my life is inconsistency.
Touche.
Hands down, man. I'll go twice a day for 20 days or something, and then I'll take 3 months off. I'm just so horrible.
I get it.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah,
so, okay, so rest of today.
Yeah.
You're off today.
Thank
you for coming down.
Thank you for asking.
Super cool.
I love that you're doing this, by the way. This is cool you're doing it here, that they let you do it. This is awesome.
Yeah, and you know that brief history of me, my work, my project, other than the fact that we live right there.
Right.
But the first time I sketched out the questions, whatever project, was on the wire table right in front of here.
I knew. We've had many conversations.
That's right. So it really is a cool spot. And, Chris, and they just run a cool deal.
They do. How long have they been here?
I don't know, 15, 16 years? Or maybe a little bit longer.
I don't think I've ever met Chris, though.
Yeah. It's cool, man. It's cool. So, I was going to explain it to you before we start, but I'll explain it now.
Right.
So the 14-year study, the 600-page book, everything about the Great Pyramid in Egypt, the result of that is we get to take a new look at ourselves. Who are we? How did we get here? Where we're going? Based on the, how we got here. If I repeated that. Who are we? Who are we? Where are we? Where are we going? And the how did we get here? And like in life or society, culture, nation, whatever, Eastern culture, Western culture, if we don't know how we got here, we don't know shit. Generally speaking. Now, it's not, most people live an ahistoric lives. You don't just go through your day thinking about the whole history.
Yeah, you go crazy.
Well, maybe.
The scenarios.
I'm not saying everybody needs to do it all day. Sure, of course not. That's ridiculous. But it's like we look at the family environment. We look at our friendship environment. You look at the region you live in. Here we are, Missouri, St. Louis, right? Mid-South. Like I grew up in Upper Michigan. The cold North. Like I was thinking of silly things like talking about the weather, right?
Right.
Doesn't make sense in most places, right? So when I talk to my niece or talk to my brother, like, what's going on with the weather? Like, it's serious. You need to know what the fucking weather is, right? No, it's like, am I going to freeze? How much gas do I have in my car? Do I want to make this 30-minute drive in the snow?
Right.
No, probably not. But it's customary where there's severe weather, especially cold in the winter or whatever, to talk about weather. So what I'm saying is time and place, context, nurture versus nature. We're just here, dude. You're here as a result of family,
right?
Friends.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like really as far back like that I think of as like a grandpa. I don't ever like
beyond that.
Yeah, never really digging past that.
Yeah,
I really don't even know.
And we're not going to do that all right now.
I get it, but it's like that's as far as the bubble is. That's not because he was the only one that far back that was in my life. It's interesting.
Yeah. So aside from all that, that's really the point of the podcast is like, who are we? Tell us who you are. Tell us how you got here. And here's a kickoff. I was looking at, because I stole a Facebook picture from you today. Oh, we didn't take a picture yet.
Okay.
But there was one.
That's a good one.
There was.
That's a good
No,
picture
not
you took.
that one. Oh. No, there's another one. There was like, this is Wade, shut in his house for 48 hours, just all knotted out.
Yeah. Which one was that?
It's in there. There's a picture of you, like, just, the dark years or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then also, too, we're openly talking about, like, our spiritual journey and the spiritual kindergarten. I talk a little bit about recovery, etc. But, I mean, that's not the focus of anything. It's not. Here's my identity.
But it's part of us, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So I didn't give you any of these, cues or whatever, but
that's the best, man. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
So you play music full time.
I play music full time
around the metro. Tell us how that happened.
All right. So without long-winded, music was always a part of. I was just talking to somebody last night. They were like, how early were you when you started playing guitar? And I'm like, as far as I can remember, like my first memories as a boy with father always tinkered with the guitar and sang, and it was fascinating to me. Like it did something, and it has something to do with recovery, because like that feeling that gave. Of course, through high school and all that, you played and you want to be cool, right? But there was something deeper than that. And when I lost track of myself and got out there in my dark days, that feeling that I had then, along with other stuff, but that's what kind of guided me back. So when I got a chance of the sobriety thing, and I got a chance to, I never thought I'd be able to do it. I didn't know how I was going to do it. For one, and I didn't know how the heck am I going to be in these places and not partake in any of that. And when I got sober, man, it was about a year. I wasn't a year. I got a sponsor that really, I trusted him, and like he gave me free reins, and I was like, I really want to try the music thing, because I knew some people who did it, and I was like, man, I can do that, right? Like that type of thing. And he was like, man, there's a right way and a wrong way. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, you're going to quit your job the right way. And that was the first time I ever quit the right way. Put my 2 weeks in. Scared puppy. I'll never forget. Anyway, I won't get into that. So I got a gig. I hustled. I got a gig. It was out in Warrenton. I got a gig at a little spot called a Hideout. And like with anything, I really appreciated everything about it. Not just I was like, I'm playing, man. Like, I'm getting paid, and I'm playing music, like, and I'm sober. It was such a cool feeling that I built relationships with people who would come and then it just kind of like the circle just kept growing, and I never said no. I never took it, and I never denied anybody who was asking my services. I still don't, if I'm available. And it just kind of grew, man. And I was living in Warrenton, and I moved back home with mom and dad, and I was like, I want to really try this. And I've never had to go back home, and it just keeps going. Then you meet people like relationships are the most important. I think the most important thing to value in life, one of them. And just with the friendships that I made, has engaged me with a lot of stuff. Now it's on to like weddings and personal anniversaries, and a lot of people are bringing me into like big moments of their life. They want me to be a part of that. Funerals, all that stuff, and it just keeps growing, man.
Yeah,
that's how it came to be. So
right, and so on that whole journey, you're booked, you're self-sustaining. Mention the what happened during COVID. I think that's a fantastic story.
Well, yeah, because I'm shy. I'm a outgoing people guy, but I don't know if shy is the right word, but like self-confidence does lack. And I knew that in my head when COVID, I was like, this is cool, man. Like, I've always wanted to do, like, how cool is it to think that we're using a phone and I can play and a lot of people can watch, but I was too chicken shit to do that. And when COVID hit, I was like, I kind of knew the inevitable, like, I'm going to have to do
like
this.
There's a God knock.
Yeah. But in all honesty, for whatever reason, and I don't want it to come across like I'm booked and other talented musicians don't. For whatever reason, there is a lot of people that do struggle with keeping this. Maybe I don't have a family, so maybe it's family. Maybe they need more income, whatever. But I knew they were struggling, and I knew that they could use, because a lot of people that I knew in the circles were like, hey, put on a concert and we'll Venmo and the PayPal thing. And I'm like, I really didn't want to take that away, because how much can one person tip if they know 15 people that are doing it? I mean, really, how much? I'm not going to be able to tip each of them a lot. So I didn't do it for a couple months, and a lot of requests to do it. I'm like, okay, well, I gave it some time, and I did it, and I was overwhelmed, dude, because I did it. I was more scared of that because of the unknown. Like, in my head, like, I was like, ooh, what if like 2 million people are watching?
Yeah.
What if one person just watched? Like,
right.
You can say you can say you're cool all you want to, but once you start going, you're like, oh. Anyway, so I remember when I had it in my room, my living room, and I was using my phone, and I had it mounted on my mic stand, and I remember I was in the views in it, and like, and I couldn't help because it's in red and it's staring right at
the number of people,
and it was going, it was climbing. I was like, oh boy, and then I got really nervous, and then then I was like, I'm not stopping, because I was like, look at all these people that came. I don't know how many hundreds of people there were, but I was like, and it was like 3 hours, and it was continuous, different people.
It was beautiful.
And I got off, and it was so powerful, man, because I even called Joe, because I was like, dude, like, the money that people donated, it was was amazing. Like, it saved my life. Facebook can do it. It's not Facebook, it's the people.
Yeah.
But
Through
that
the
saved,
tool,
that
the
saved my
tools.
life,
Yeah,
man. Like,
yeah.
that was the coolest thing. Like, I had no way. Nobody was booking. Fortunately, not after too long, people were booked me for private parties outside. So I was down, but I was getting back into the financial booking process before people opened back, or businesses opened back up. But still, like, I'll every time, for it was about 2 months, I think, every Wednesday, like, every time I got off, I was like, man, like, I feel like I owe. It was awesome.
Yeah.
People came together, man. Like,
And I think that's how everybody got through it. It's like, need this, need that, don't whatever.
Right.
People, you know, which is a super important thing. It's like, when you need help, you got to ask for it.
Right.
Like, don't be such false pride, you know.
right.
And
I struggle with
take
that.
the help that people give.
Yep.
So
Yep. I still,
it was great to witness, watch.
and I've got, till this day and beyond, already things, whether it be businesses or people, that are still supporting me because of that.
Yeah, or they found out about you through it
Through that,
or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
The recognition through that was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, I do some spots that you get great recognition at, and that's great, but it was nothing compared to the letters, like the messages of, like, people in California.
Freebird.
Right?
No, I'm just kidding.
Brad's mom.
Yeah.
Come on,
Oh my
man.
goodness. That's
I still talk to Brad. He was there Saturday. Last Saturday.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But just spread out. You had different
out.
people from different areas.
It's shirt worthy.
Shirt
Brad's
worthy.
mom
Brad's-
is worth getting
It's
a shirt.
shirt worthy. That's funny.
Yep.
I think we all need to know Brad's mom.
Yeah. I don't even know her.
Oh, that's so
I just know
funny.
Brad.
Yeah. That's so cool. Okay, so fitness, music. You're going to play some for us today,
Yeah.
too. Yeah. We'll get in here in a couple minutes. And then the other thing, we'll right about 30 minutes or so, you can bust out a song or two. I have a request.
Save me.
Yeah,
I
of
got
course.
you, yeah.
But anyway, so that'll be totally cool.
Okay.
But I was thinking about this the other day too, and we've done 5 episodes. We got a bunch of other.
You got 5 done already, huh?
You're the 5th, man.
Okay.
We got a bunch of other media coming too.
Okay.
And then the cool, well, I don't know how cool it is, but my simple equipment, I got a little Bluetooth. I can pipe in phone calls from my niece and my brother, people that have worked with me on my stuff for so long. So I can do it. I've been having these hour-long conversations with people for 10, 14 years. Now it's like, hey, let's talk on a Saturday morning, and that's a podcast.
Yeah, for
'cause
sure.
We're talking about
dude, like, just what you got going. Like, I've done quite a few
radio spots.
You already got to head up on the lights, dude.
Well, I mean,
no,
stop.
Come on, professional Dave.
Do you know how this started though? So, well, anyway, I was talking with a few people. One, I think it was an Egyptologist at the Petrie Museum in Great Britain, and another guy was a historian. Both essentially Orthodox defenders, if that's even a way to categorize them. But I was like, let's do a debate on the evidence, whatever. So I put together this 6 or 7 page debate outline for one guy. I'm like, we'll just do the debate. We'll put it on YouTube, cordial, professional, or whatever. So I put it together. It was like, here's the evidence. Here's the Orthodox claims. Let's just talk.
Do you really think it'd be cordial? You already think it'd be like, let's go.
It would be cordial for me.
Okay.
I mean, there's no vitriol.
You're good at that.
Yeah, and there's nothing personal. But anyway, so I put this together for the guy, and I was like, well, and he's like, I'm not debating these things. I'm like, we can't just sit down and talk about the evidence.
Right.
We can't sit down and talk about 200 years of the Orthodox claims and assimilation attempts or whatever. And it aggravated me. I was like, what?
Why did he say? Why didn't he not?
He doesn't. Well, I mean, that's another discussion.
Right.
But there's parts, critical parts, where the evidence and the claims, there's conflict, right? That that falsifies the paradigm essentially. Okay. They're just not going to open themselves up to that. Here's the narrative, it's fixed. Here's the study, it's fixed. All bordering on dogma. It's like, no, don't question nothing. And I'm not talking to you about it.
Right.
Just not doing it.
See, that's a cop-out, man.
There's times where there are studies where there are topics where it makes sense, right? Or you want to talk to me about the flat Earth? Time out, buddy. We're just not doing it, man.
Dude.
No, I'm just
I
saying,
know some
okay.
people that are strong.
I know. So
That's a thing.
Maybe it's not a thing.
Okay.
The thing is.
What's the thing, Dave?
The thing is, people want to question. They just don't. There's good foundation for it. Like, take no one's word for it, right? There's a bunch of history, which is like, no, just let's investigate it. Quit telling me what somebody else said about it. Let me take a look, So he said, no, we're not going to debate. And I was like, I'll have this debate myself, with myself.
Wow.
It's not that complicated. Here's the evidence. Here's the claims. Where's the conflict? Like that. And then I was thinking, so anyway, that's how this all started.
When you
Through resentment. What? No. That's part of this.
Okay.
As part of the April launch, is like, here's some topical videos. We're gonna do all that, and then here's the podcast. There's different categories of the content. This is one of them.
Okay.
The other one is here. Let's talk about the Great Pyramid. Let's talk about the evidence. Let's look at the claims. Let's just walk through it. It's aside from its precision and the other fascinating parts of its nature, okay, at the base level, it's a structure which is a pile of rocks, okay? Let's not overcomplicate this thing.
Right.
But that's what's out there in the zeitgeist, And so the reason for there's so much pushback against the Orthodox thing is if you don't have a good answer across the board, any answer makes sense, which is what the flat Earth thing is. It's like, why can I only see that far? Must be because it's flat, right? Is there a chance it looks like the moon or the sun? No. That looks like a disc until you see it through its 28-day cycle, and then it doesn't look like a disc. It looks like the sun reflecting off an orange. You see the arc and the crescent, and it's clearly round, or it's an oblate spheroid, to be more specific. Anyhow, my point is, you can have a lot of pushback on a lot of different things. The shape of the Earth is not one of them. Okay. There's other just fundamental things, fundamental facts, let's say. We've spent 500 years exploring the nature of things, right?
Right.
From germ theory to, the billion-strand DNA. There's a lot we know, right? They just sent the James Webb Space Telescope past the moon, right? And it's showing us images which you could never conceive of. Back up to Hubble, right? The idea of Hubble's Space Telescope was, we're going to take the starry night sky. We're going to focus on what we think is a dark area, right? Through the dark area, we see the rest of these galaxies. Duh, right? This is called hubris, okay? Human hubris. We think we know what is going on. We think we know what we're looking at. We think we know what we're talking about.
So, what do you think? Like, let's do the flat Earth thing. So, like, if somebody's obsessed with that,
I tell them to get a hobby.
Why are they so obsessed with it? Like my experience, anybody who there's a couple, and it's like a for real Yeah,
and I'm sure they're gonna torture me. people want to.
I'm amazed how caught up they are on it.
Yeah, people want to be special. People want to be first. People want to debate. They do. They just, maybe it's just for the debate. Maybe it's to push back against all the impositions, right? I think there's a lot of reasons for it. But I think
There has to be.
I think there's a bunch of investigation. There's a bunch of mysteries in life that you could put attention on. Other than that, why do I battle myself with my inconsistencies in fitness? Put my effort towards that, versus some esoteric thing, some argument which is not even rooted in fact or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put your efforts towards something. You, me, anybody wouldn't get to where we are if we didn't have a focused effort on managing what's going on, or at least being present, being still, and then a focused effort. It's like if your focused effort is on something ridiculous, well, it's not going to be rewarding or fulfilling or whatever. It's not going to contribute to my peace.
That's true. Yep.
So anyway, but people want to be right. People want to debate. People want to that, and so part of it's just pushback, like teenage rebellion or whatever. I think. I don't know. What do you think? What compels them?
I don't know. I don't know because
How's that timer doing?
3 minutes.
Okay.
You got 3 minutes, bud.
Yeah.
I'll make sure.
That's good.
Yep. 3-way. I don't know because the only people, it's been a handful, and they've had substance issues or something like, and they're people that I actually love, like, or I've known, and it's like, but like it's serious, like it's like do or die type of thing. It's
Okay.
like, man, why is it that?
Yeah, and
that much.
Also,
how come you just can't be like, it's a possibility, huh?
Yeah. What else are we doing?
Yeah. What else are we doing? Yeah. Right.
But
you got anything else going on?
Yeah. So here's another thing with love and tolerance. 10% of people are just fucking crazy. I mean, in some sense or another,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the truly crazy people don't know they're crazy. Us, on the other hand, if you have an idea, then you're probably not the real crazy. So anyway, no offense to crazy people, but I mean,
no offense, crazy people.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a buddy of mine on. He's a chef, and I'm going to talk to him about this. But like, we live in a time and place where shopping is a hobby. We live in a time and place where food is an art. People make fantastic things, and I'm sure taste and culture and food is an enormous thing, but like at its fundamental level, it's fuel.
Right.
Like, aren't we so privileged? We can turn shopping and food into hobbies. I mean,
you're going on that.
Like how good do we got it? We got it pretty damn good.
Click, free 2-day delivery. Click,
I have not. Have you used DoorDash?
No.
I have not used it.
No.
I cannot. I will not. Sorry. I'm just not doing it, man. Listen, I'm going to pay somebody else to cook my food. I'm going to pay somebody else to deliver my food. I'm going to pay somebody else to get me in shape. I'm going to pay somebody to mow my lawn. I'm going to pay somebody to shovel the driveway, to pay somebody to rake the leaves. For what? Here's what I would spend time doing, right? I'm just going to spend time scheduling 100 people to do shit for me and do nothing.
I get it. I get that.
This is craziness.
That is craziness. Yeah. I haven't ever Ubered. Have you ever Ubered?
Yes. Well,
okay.
I
is
went
that the same thing?
Huh?
Is that the same thing?
No. It's like you show up to an airport. I need to get to a hotel.
Okay.
Anyway, you want to play something for us?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. We'll be right back with Wade.
Sueder.
Yes.
I miss it.
Yeah. Oh, another thing is, this is gonna be an Easter egg thing too. So we're gonna put in Fargo quotes.
Wade.
It's Jerry. Wade, it's Jean. It's my wife. Oh, jeez.
Oh, I forgot about that, Dave.
Don't forget. Don't forget. We're going to keep audio rolling. I'm going to switch the video. And if you want to keep that on, you can. Or you just do your thing.
I want to hear the room.
All right.
I love the room in here.
Tell that story, baby.
Tell that story. Dude, I haven't done that one in a minute. Ready? You ready?
I'm ready, man. I'm tuned in.
Okay, you started. We ready?
We're good.
All right.
We'll just start from here.
We'll just start from here. I got a candle, I've got a spoon, I live in a hallway with no door and no room. Under the window sill, they all were found. Touch of concrete within the doorway, without a sound. Someone save me, if you will. Take away all these pills and bleach, just save me, if you can, from my blasphemy in my wasteland. How did I get here? What went wrong? I couldn't handle forgiveness. Now I'm far beyond gone. I can hardly remember the look in my own eye. How did I love this? Life's honest, made me compromise. Someone save me, if you will. Take away all these pills and please just save me, if you can, from my blasphemy in my wasteland. Jump in the water, jump in with me. And I said, jump on the altar, lay it down with me. The hardest question to answer is why. Someone save me, if you will. Take away all these pills and please just save me, if you can, from my blasphemy in my wasteland. Somebody save me, somebody save me, somebody save me.
Buddy.
Yeah,
Powerful.
good old save me, man. Yeah. Aye.
And your voice wasn't, well, you were warmed up 30 minutes. Love that song, dude. I mean, the hallway and the pills, just.
Rings a bell. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember. I can't remember the first time I heard that, but I do remember how profound that was. I was like,
and learning it, and right?
Yeah.
Just profound.
Just everything about it. Like, that's a sick dude writing about being sick, and it's just really good. Like, why?
And it's, well, artistry, but it's like, if you don't talk about where that is, like, that's the healing. It's like, here was where I was, man.
True story, yeah.
And thankfully, most people don't ever have to realize that. So,
true.
Yeah. All right, you got something else in you?
I do.
Well, I don't care what it is, man. You do your thing, and then we'll do two, and then we'll get back to chit chatting.
Okay, so this is this is actually mine. This is an original.
Okay.
This was way back. This is not polished, so this is something I should go back and revisit, but I keep forgetting about this one. But the good old first heartbreak. Promises you made for a lifetime, it all washed away like this heart of mine. I gave you all that was inside of me. If you only knew how deep my love could be, but you left without a trace. Broken hearted, yeah, I can still see your face. I'll never say goodbye. I'll never say goodbye. Time marches on. I found somebody new. My heart keeps growing stronger than it ever used to do. So now I say to you, good luck. Whatever you choose to do, even have a happy heart, but I still can't say goodbye to you. I'll never say goodbye. I'll never say I have never been here before. So now I know it's true. You're not the one I was meant for. After all this time, thought I'd never say this line. I don't love you anymore. So I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna say goodbye. So long, my love. I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna say goodbye.
Dude. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. You like this sucker?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cannon.
Show up good on the 4K video.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, 2 free songs.
Yes, that's right. You can Venmo me.
Do you want to keep that, or do you want to put it? Go ahead and put that back if you want. Take your time. We'll get it. We'll get it. Man, that was beautiful. Both of them. Both of them.
Both of them.
Both them.
Both of them.
Wow. Folks, hope you liked a little music from Wade Trent.
Where did the tuner?
Tuner. Oh, it's right there. It's on the shelf behind you. Dude, for real, man. You know, oh my goodness. What was it, like 10 years ago, Patty bought me a guitar? You remember me telling you early on about my music block? It's still there. It's still there.
You remember what kind it was?
What, the block?
Guitar?
No. Piece of shit. Piece of shit from somewhere. She bought it. It was a sweet token, you know. But whatever. It was interesting. You remember the story about my music block, right? Anyway, I played the mandolin when I was a kid. At 7, 8, 9,
Yep,
whatever.
that.
Then my dad's band. I could sit there and play with them, learn the mandolin. They go to a gig. Me and my brother go. They wouldn't let kids in the bar, even to play music.
Right.
And I sat in the upper, remember the campers on the back of the pickup? I sat up there.
Yes.
I was so disappointed. I mean, like an 8-year-old. I swore to the universe, done with music. I can't undo it.
Oh.
No, I mean, for real, I can't undo it.
He's done.
I mean, I can. I've tried. I go there, whatever, but it's just not my avenue anymore, or something. What, I don't know. I could probably get through it.
You could.
I could,
You
but
could.
soon, maybe. I don't know.
Time.
Anyway, enough about me.
Okay.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
You're
Love you,
welcome.
buddy. That's
Love you too,
awesome.
buddy.
And so when you, obviously people love music, but when you get to give something to somebody, is that like, let's say even that, however it affected you when you were young, right? Your dad played, whatever. Do you feel like you're giving that to people?
I do. And this is the I've run into this since I've been doing it long enough now and playing enough that the news wore off, right? Like, it's so personal to me because of that. And I mean that because, like, when there's something, maybe it's a combination of stuff, maybe I don't even have to know what it is, but like ego maybe is involved, whatever, sharing's involved, emotions are involved, all that stuff. But like when I do play, there is something that happens that, like, when I get done, I go home and it's like I took something, it's just like sharing in a meeting, or like it's the same thing, but on like it's my most personal
gift.
That I've worked the most at. You know, it's the only thing that I've done pure, right? Consistently.
Right.
And I just ran into that. Like I was playing, I won't say the place, but I was playing somewhere and there was some people that were partaking in the beverage really heavy. And they were crossing the lines, and it's like getting close up, and you know, and it's like I'll really get upset, not just because it's equipment or guitar, but like, dude, I remember playing just right up here. I remember, like, I was so scared and vulnerable that like that's the only thing I've ever had, because I'm I'm not exaggerating on this. When I wanted to do this was one thing. When I wanted to do the music thing full time, that was one thing. Doing it and getting in front of people was a whole other animal. And I did it step by step. I used Joe a lot, and I would get to a gig. I've had anxiety attacks. I've quit a couple gigs early on. Like, it really was scary. But there was something that I didn't get to know yet that was there. Or else I wouldn't have done it. Like, that's dumb. Why would you go put yourself through that, right? Like, go do something else, man. Like, maybe this ain't for you. But I kept on. And, like, when I was playing up here at the Q was when it really started, like, I got through. Like, I'd have to call him or text him something before the gig, on my break. Mm-hmm. You know, like, couldn't look up. I had a sheet music stand when I first started with my lyrics, and it was like this.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't, hey, let's go watch Wade. You couldn't even see me. I was surrounded by
Put the song list on your shoe tops.
Yeah. You could see my hat, maybe, you know. But like, but that was my God spot, man. That really was, because that's all I had. Like, mom and dad couldn't help me anymore. Sponsorship.
You're on your own,
I'm
man.
on my own.
And it's like, well, like I did the little bit of community theater, you know.
Right.
4, 5, 8 play, however many I did. But it's for real. It's like, here you are, naked, to the front. There's the lights. There's the people. It's like, you better be
ready. Yeah.
You're gonna find it some way or another,
right.
You know. And I sure hope everybody has a chance to do some of that,
for sure,
or experience it anyway.
Yeah.
Even if it's, you know, middle school play, something, whatever, high school, it doesn't matter. But so you're saying if people, when people encroach on your space, that this is a gift that you have you're giving to somebody else, and it's like, if people are just mocking it by their dismissal, their behavior, their drunk, whatever, right?
Yeah, because
it's offensive. I mean,
it's offensive,
it encroaches on you and what you're doing. Oh, okay.
Because it got brought up in a conversation, because I was asked about it. I don't promote that. But like,
you don't want to tell people your underbelly.
Right.
Wait, you just told them all.
Right. But like a lot of the people, a lot of the musicians, like, and it's understandable. They book, they're talented, they're doing it for, you know, like promotion. They're doing it to share, to get better, to get bigger, whatever. Like, it is an egotistical thing. Like, mine's not. Like,
but we've talked about this. It can be both at the same time.
It can be both at the same time.
Right.
But mine was like, I'm doing this because, like, this is the best medicine I've ever had. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it for you. You know what I'm saying? I really wasn't. Like, put me somewhere, like, if you like to hear me, like in here, like, put me in the corner and let people drink. Like, I don't want to be the center of attention on that. Like, let me
That's such a paradox.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But it's the truth. Like I get, you're gonna have Big Dave on soon, and he was the first guy who loved, and this is before I even knew how to sing. Like, he loved it, and I was like, how do you love that? Like, I hated to hear it. Even like, it used to be I couldn't even talk to myself and hear it. Like, I hated it, and especially when you don't know what you're doing. But it's like, I was after how that made me feel, for real. I didn't care if there was a person or 10 people. Like, I'm doing, yes, it's my job, but like, I really loved how that felt when I got done, just by singing. Because when I sing, like, I go there, like, wherever this is, I go there, and that's invaluable, man. Like, and I think that's part of the attraction.
And you see this with other artists too, other people's expression and their creativity, or Dave with his tattooing, or drawing, or whomever.
Yeah.
It's like everybody needs an outlet. Like
Yeah.
I've talked with Todd about him building his cars, and Jeremy's got his creative outlets, and
Right.
it's interesting. It's amazing. My niece, like I forgot how many years ago, but she opened an escape room. She designs the rooms, she builds them, she does everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but it's similar to, this is my expression. This
Yeah,
is what I have to give the world. Even if,
Right.
But there's also, this is what I'm doing because I need to do it.
Right. And I didn't know that was there. That was a complete blindside in a good way, like going, wow, like.
And so you're saying that manifests, and you felt
Yeah.
it, at least understood it. I'm not saying you fully understand it, but understood it when you started playing publicly. It's
Yeah,
like,
it was
hey,
like, whoa,
here's an exchange.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm doing something, especially when you get the reaction, like when you're
Well,
getting.
if you're any good. I mean, this is a talent thing
Yeah.
too. I mean, not to just, I don't want to skip over that.
Right. But there's also like, people do say that. They're like, hey, the singing thing, even the playing thing, like, this didn't just happen either. I practiced it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, how long? Well, how does that even happen? It's you, your music, you're learning stuff, you're practicing, you're playing it, da-da-da-da-da. People don't know. You've got 1,000 songs in your head.
right.
How does that happen? Other than time and attrition and whatever, but you've got to, not everybody has the brain to do that.
I don't know. There was a guy that started doing this full time, and he's just starting the guitar. Really, I mean, he's got enough to get by with doing it. But he was like, he asked, he was like, "Do you give lessons or like?" And I was like, "Man, like, no, because I play 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is. When I go home, like, I don't have a family yet, and it's like, I'm tinkering, I'm playing, like, it's part of me." And like, anybody who I've ever talked to that was like, "Man, I suck at the guitar," or "I suck at singing," then why do they have lessons? You know what I'm saying? Like, then why is there lessons if nobody, like, I can't sing, not everybody can sing. Well, I get it, gift to certain levels, but like,
Oh yeah,
there's lessons
it's
for
like,
that.
Yeah,
And the most
practice
common,
your craft.
yeah, the
improve
most
your
common
craft.
denominator that I have witnessed, it's not theory, it's not complicated. It's like, how long are you practicing? Not very long. That's
Okay.
the most common denominator. Like, how often have you tried to learn a guitar? I did it once and couldn't do it. Like, okay. How often are you doing it, practicing a day? I don't.
Yeah,
It's like,
and
on
that would apply to
Sundays,
painting, or that would apply
applies
to
to
running, or the
everything,
gym, or all of
yeah.
that. All right? It's just like Jeremy was talking about his ultra marathons, and I'm like,
Right.
dude, come on.
Right.
So the reason these track and field runners in college, whatever, it's like he talked to his the coach. He's like, we're gonna run every day, 5, 6, 8 miles, 10, whatever.
Right.
It's like, if that's not you, then this is not for you.
Right. It's simple, but it's like, for real, like, it's just it's the same thing of going, man, I really want to be this and that, but what are you doing about that? Like,
Yeah. It's the dedication, the put in the work,
Yeah.
the mastercraft thing, whatever. And everybody has to do that. Everybody has
because
to do that.
that's part of what that drives me is like, I'll tinker, I'll play. I don't even know what I'm doing a lot of times. I just the feel of it, like, I love that, like, find that, like, whatever. And then when that clicks, like when just a little piece of a song clicks, or something, I've been really doing it since COVID, is the electric stuff at home, and it's just for me, man, the metal stuff, the fast,
Right.
and like when I'm chugging, I'm trying to do like an old Metallica song or that I never could even have touched, and I'm doing it, and like once that is like an endorphin
New
rush.
frontier.
Yeah, man, like,
You're like,
you see the progress, just like lifting. And then you
Yeah.
put your pants on. You're like, ooh, that belt's one notch looser. Like, ooh,
or tighter.
it doesn't matter. But when you see that, like, you're like, oh, all this is paying off.
Okay.
Man.
Okay. So let's just take that little thing right there, that spot, which is,
Right.
here's the thing. It's beyond my present capacity, It's beyond my present skills. It's beyond my present knowledge, right? And then so that's the frontier thing. So if I don't, me personally, if I don't tackle, if I haven't found something that is going to push all of my limits, I'm not stimulated enough, right? It's like that electric. I remember when you picked it up and you know? But is that what you feel like on that frontier?
Yeah.
When it's like, oh, can I learn Ride the Lightning?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, and then there are master puppets or whatever.
And I believe that every human's got, just like you're saying, like your writing, your book, any kind of I don't want to say hobby, but any kind of interest, man, like that level of like persistence and reward, like it's really, there's a lot of people that are like, where'd that come from? Or they never even heard me play electric. And it's like, I spent a lot of time doing that because it's not for anybody. Like, that's a personal, like, woo, that's my drink, man. Like, that really releases a lot of stuff. Yeah. And that's what's cool is like, that's part of the perk of playing and meeting so many people, because there's so many people that can sing and there's so many people that can play, and they don't know if they can do it sober, or they don't even know if they can do it for a living. And it's like, dude, I'm a walking example of, yeah, absolutely you can. What the reasons why you're not is all bullshit you're telling yourself in your head. You got a family, and I was told at a young age, like, you can't do that either. Like, you need the 40-hour. You know what I'm saying? It's
How was that? You're at a factory job or something?
Yeah.
How was that?
Miserable.
So, tell me, like, so.
Okay.
You show up, you clock in. What are you thinking?
Right. So I was in Warrenton, and I lived a mile from the factory, and I got that job. I was like, my orientation was the day after my first meeting.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So like, just the girl just left, right, and it was like, I went straight into the tattoo shop, asked Dave about it, went straight in, and I was like, because he knew my situation. And we were together for a long time. And that was done. And I remember walking to his tattoo, and I was like, dude, I don't know, like, I'm ready. Maybe crying. And he's like, okay. So I went to my first meeting that night. Mm-hmm. So I went to orientation. I was like, okay. And I was doing what they said, right? Like, did the meeting thing, let's do this thing. And I was like, because there's no way. I didn't know what I was getting into, but I knew there was no way I could do this by myself. I knew that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because I was
sobriety,
like,
change, anything.
Because like heartbreak, I didn't take normal.
Yeah, but then the job thing was part of that.
Job thing, and so I was like, okay. They were like, you're going to work, like keep your job, and you're going to do AA. So I went into working at this factory with everything. Like, I shit you not, man. I got my joints. My chiropractor's been working on them. Because I've been getting them, they're starting to lock up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'd have known this, I'd never would have done it, right? But, like, I had that shit job where, like, the welding on the axe was coming out, and they call it peening. And it's this massive 20-pound hammer that smooths the weld out. And I would do that all, but I was like, this is my job. You know, like, my father worked all the time, and I'm like, he's the man, right? Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's what I did, and I went. Nobody wanted to do that, but I'm like, yep, they told me to, so I did. And I was doing that for, it was like 7-8 months. And that's when I first started, I had a sponsor. And about 6 months in is when I got my new sponsor. And that's when it was like, hey, this sucks. And I get 90% of Americans, right? Like, anybody can say, hey, this sucks. But it was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Am I wrong for wanting to do something different? And that's when that came about of going, I was even afraid to ask a sponsor or Dave or anybody going, like, because I'm leaving a job that I was told is what I'm supposed to be doing for something that I wanted to do. It felt wrong. Because I've never done that before. Right. Or if I did, I did it the wrong way.
Did you become just miserable showing up to that thing, or it wasn't so much miserable, but it was like, there's something else I need to be doing?
So in hindsight, looking at it, it was something telling me to do something different. Like, I didn't know what it was. I just knew that that's not what it, maybe it was just the fact I knew that I was going to quit if I kept doing that. Who knows?
Right,
I don't know, but I know that I confronted the Joe about it and was like, I don't even know. I didn't even have a gig, right? So I'm going, hey, I'm going to leave this job for something that's just a possibility that I don't even have a gig yet. But I felt there was something. There was something,
Yeah, of course, that's a great story. I mean, there's so much failure. I mean, it's in the arts, let's say, or creativity or whatever. It's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be self-supporting through this art.
So, I got, like I said, that first gig was at the Hideout in Warrenton, and that's, dude, like, it's in a trailer. Like,
did you reset that?
I did not. It's a small. It's nothing to be.
So this is your first gig.
That was my first. So my second gig, though. My second gig was actually at I won't say the place, but it was in Cottleville, and it was actually the first like hey, like my arrival, right?
And there was people there,
right.
or did you feel it? You felt it?
Well, I mean, no, but there's family, and it was a small place, and I remember the same thing. Had the sheet music like here, couldn't see me. I played, and I was like, I'm king shit. I really thought that. And I was like, oh, I have a ride. Like, I can do this. So I'm packing my stuff up. Had a buddy who was in a pretty big local band. He was there with me. And we were packing up. We go outside, load my stuff up. And I'm like, I'm going to get paid. Be right back. So I go in, walk up. And I was like, oh, dude, she's going to love. I'm going to be booked here forever.
Right.
And I walked up and I was like, hey. I was like, so what'd you think? And she was like, yeah. She's like, we're not going to have you back. she's like, it's way too folky. And I remember, I wish I had a shot of my face, man, because I didn't expect that at all. Because it was 80% of the people were it was a small plot spot and it was busy, but it was all my friends and family. And she was like, nope.
And you brought the people, though.
Oh,
right?
dude, I walked out of there, like, the walk from the front door to my car where everybody was at was like a dog that just got beat. And I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this.
That's crazy.
maybe I got a little head of the gun here, maybe, but yeah.
So don't take the initial whatever perception of rejection, perception of failure. Don't just skip past that.
Right.
Keep going.
No, but
if it happens repeatedly, then it's like then you got to take a look. Right?
Yeah. Might want to practice a little longer.
So and now here, one of the other themes that I want to do is like I keep talking. This came up as I would talk to people about my work or whatever. Or people, like everybody's on a spiritual path, even if they don't think they are. But so I've looked at like what does it look like? What's the practical thing? This is one of the things I want to try to do is if we didn't have writing, if we didn't have doctrine or whatever, or someone saying, well, here's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the structure, the construct or whatever. How would we do it? How would we do our spiritual, our transcendental, or the luminous, right? Mm. How would we do it? How have we been doing it for 300,000 years as anatomically modern humans? Okay? So end of the day, back at the campfire, like we got a perfect little village culture on a river, in a mountain, whatever. How do we experience the spiritual? And then how do we share it with one another? Okay? Is it the case that you take like the matriarch or the patriarch and they tell you what your spiritual life is like?
Right.
Or is it something else? Like, what is that? What does it look like? And so this is so what I find myself doing, and in my 34-year spiritual kindergarten time, right? I'm saying for real, That's how I look at it. Is I share mine, you share yours. There's autonomy, right? There's sovereignty. It's like, it seems foolhardy for me or for anyone to say, well, here's how I see my spiritual life or experience of. It's like if you described your work ethic or your love for a friend, okay, or your bond with a dog, let's say. Do you think someone else should have that exact same experience and understanding of your, because these are those, you can't quantify love for a friend. It's not scientific. Where's that register? What's the number?
Right. Right.
Okay,
You're level 8, Dave.
I'm level 8
You're
in my
level
work
8, yeah.
ethic.
Yeah.
I'm level 8 in my care for my dog.
I love you on a level 6.
Okay, this is how stupid that is. I mean, for one, it's ridiculous, but for two, here's the list you should follow to have a better work ethic, or to better participate with your friends, or to be let's say, am I a good son or not? On what scale? Or if there's a scale, right? Do I feel good? Am I respectful? Am I honest? Do I listen? Whatever these things are. But how does that translate into our spiritual life? Okay, and we can take as little or as much time as we want. So my question to you is, if you described how you relate or understand to, let's say a oneness. Now, I don't know, you can even be a theist. I don't know if you're non-theist or theist or pantheism. I'm not even sure. We haven't talked about that specifically, so I'm not trying to
corner me,
boomerang
okay.
On you. But how do you relate your spiritual life, your understanding, your connection to? Because there's how many powers greater than ourself? Gravity's a good one, right? You need oxygen.
Right.
There's one.
Yeah.
Me and Joe and Big Dave could pull you apart at the limbs.
Right.
There's one.
Yep.
Maybe it's Buddha. Maybe it's Thor. Maybe it's Isis. Maybe it's baby Jesus. Maybe it's Allah. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
How do you understand, relate, and then just describe for me your spiritual understanding in 30 seconds or less.
Yeah. Go. You're done.
Ready. And give me the scales. I want you to quantify 7.2. This. 7.2.
So this is a 7.2 out of 10. Right.
All right.
Dude, that's a good one. That's a loaded question. That's like, I remember my mom still brings this up. Like, I was going to Tennessee with my grandpa, and I was 4, maybe, ish, 5. But I do remember he was coming to get me at home. Grandpa was coming to pick me up and take me to Tennessee, and that was the first time I was gone from my folks. And I remember I was outside, and we was in the country and had bukus of room, and I loved playing outside. And I remember I was outside, and I remember hearing her calling me, and I remember just was in the sandbox way out in the woods, whatever. But I remember I come up, and she was really worried. She was legit worried. And my response was, "It's okay, God's got me." And it's like, where does... I didn't learn that. Okay? Like, I wasn't told to say that when you get in trouble. Like, this is a free ticket out of punishment, or I didn't know. It's always been, for me, there is a feeling, and I love it. Joe and Charlie talked about the whole, like, some call it conscience, some call it whatever, like innate intelligence. Like, it doesn't matter, just as long as, like, I feel it and this is where I got in trouble with alcohol, other than the other obvious reasons, is like knowing what to do and the voice in my head telling me that that's right or wrong. I always thought it was okay if I just acknowledged that. Okay, so like going, "Hey God," like in my head, or like spiritual whatever, like going, am I really praying to God, or am I just acknowledging that I want him there, and then I'm just going to continue doing my thing and never applying that, right? And I got into a lot of trouble that way. And what sobriety has done, and what experiences has done, what questioning, right? I love people questioning. I love when the God thing, because it gets deep and trippy and way out there, and it's like, well, then question it, man. Like, from my experience, when I question faith and I fail at that, I learn from that, and my faith grows from that. Because the next time I get into whatever situation, I trust that, hey, last time that didn't work. And then my life gets better when I do something different. I give it to something other than the way I think about it. Or,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
and that grows, and then that grows, and that develops. So now it's not just going, hey, this is right or wrong. Now I've got enough faith, enough knowledge. Let's do the right thing no matter what, how hard that is. And then I start reaping some benefits from that. I've never had that in my life, right? It was always like, that's gonna suck. You might lose your job over that.
Right. Here's how.
If you do the right thing here, you might lose her, right?
Yeah.
Or if you do the right thing here, you might not get what you want, or you might lose what you have.
Yeah.
And I was too afraid to do that because I'm going off of nothing, right? Once I started, and I did that with the music thing. Once I applied a little bit of faith, and then no matter how tough that was, the right way, I did. And it wasn't just what I got out of it. It's like how I felt about that. And then that grows, man. That's like lifting weights. Like that grows. And the next time I got into I did it with the girls, man. Like next time I got into a situation where I was like, I know this ain't right. Like, but it might hurt her feelings, or it might hurt my feelings. Like, I'll do it next time. And then you're just, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I work.
Yeah,
that's
like
how
postponing the
yeah,
inevitable.
and then I've learned to. I still struggle with that, but like, that's where I see it. So like, it's really easy for me. Well, now is this taught from the wonderful family I had, or is this just one of those guys? I don't know, but like, it's really easy for me to know that I'm not that guy. Like when you talk about God, like there's a bunch of things that are higher power than I am, right? Now alcohol was different, right? Alcohol was that, like that was my dude,
right.
So
Driving the bus.
yeah,
man.
he drove the bus.
Yeah.
So that was the one thing that was the strongest, and I made whatever I could identify that was wrong, whatever, but I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do anything about that. Like that was another day.
And it all just plays out in the results.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the result of that?
Right.
You know?
Right. And
This
that's
is clearly negative, self-destructing, and I'm going to die.
There was one thing that you said a long time ago to me. I remember this was really profound to me. Is you were like, whatever you're seeking, as far as like peace and love and all that, the universe provides that for you. Not a person does, not a thing. And I really thought that I really thought that a girl would give me what that level of peace or love. Like I'm not getting that level of love unless I'm in a relationship with a girl. And then I would beat myself up because I'm not in one. You know what I'm saying? Like what's wrong with me, or what? And it's true. Like my life is such a good example of not knowing anything and then trusting that process and going by that for so long that, dude, like I got into that, like a date or talking to a girl, or this doesn't have to be just a girl thing, but like that's not, like that might be fun and exciting and interesting, but that's not giving me what I get when I go home now. Like the things that I've got, the peace that I've got, like it's legit everything and more than I thought I'd ever gonna have. And it's like, now I can see, hey, man, this doesn't lie in another individual. This doesn't lie in certain things or collecting. Yeah,
and then also I would describe, and again, I'll talk enough about myself in this whole thing, but it's like it seems like you know, when I talk about the divine, I'm talking about just the universe. But it seems like it's a divine paradox. It's like to win, you have to surrender. To heal, you know, you're going to be in severe pain first, or there's no healing. Right. In order to receive, I got to give blah, 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 that sort of stuff.
Right.
But in order for me to rely on something other than self, I need to give up relying on self.
Right.
What does that mean? I'm saying that's
Right.
antithetical to the world, everything. It's like, you do this, make up your mind, take the action, you go make it happen, right? Relying on yourself.
Right.
You know, determination is the thing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Self-determined objectives. Discipline. I mean, discipline's good, but, or like we talked about with practicing music or whatever it is. But it's not a self. There's no way to get there, like through self. You know, but if I can be arrested and pause and then look at it for long, and it's just, there's a maturation arc to all of this, right? Spiritual maturation. So I'm not who I was yesterday.
Right.
Much less 10 years ago, much less 30 years ago, whatever.
Right.
And so we're all changing in that respect as much as we want to, you know,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
But the key to that, like you're talking about it, is like self says, I need this thing, relationship, possession, or self-image in order for me to feel secure or this or that or whatever the case is, right? It's like the more I was looking for security, the more insecure I was. The more I was looking for those things, like insert whatever, relationship, girl, this friend, this, I need mommy, I need daddy, I need whatever it is. Or now expand it. Like I think for me, there's a huge disservice. Let's say coming out of alcoholism, drug addiction, or any just really self-destructive thing is I'm going to come out of delusion, okay, into reality. Now, I think it's almost like a spiritual crime to layer another set of delusions on top of that. Like how does that make sense?
Right.
And so that's where I really drill down on thanks but no thanks.
Yeah.
To a lot of what is offered, you know. It's like, do this, do that, believe this, believe that. Here's a structure. Just work in the structure. Like, oh, dude, I worked in a structure, you know, like
Yeah.
it about killed me, you know. Put this above all things. I already did that. That's not a good path, man. That's not a good way to do it. And it's so like I'm freed from delusion, self-delusion, right? And then I'm stopped, and now I get a chance to breathe, a chance to clear my head, a chance to just see what's going on. Like this is all going on without my input. Nobody's asking my opinion.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The planet is spinning 1,011 miles an hour at the equator.
Not by the flat Earth people. It's not. It's still.
That is so funny. Like, you know, listen, this has all been great before I was here. It's all going to be great after I'm gone. It's just not that important, you know? But how much pressure, how much suffering.
True. There you go.
Self-imposed suffering and pressure, right?
Yep.
So this is what I came to, I guess, in my, how I relate to this, the transcendental, the luminous, is as long as there's a denial of self, I can start to see, hear or feel or whatever, because self just gets in the way of like almost everything, you know. And so those paradoxes can now happen, and you know, it can manifest, you know. And obviously the world's wisdom traditions and philosophy and religious spiritual teachings, like they're all talking about the same thing. And obviously this is nothing new, but it's like, for me, it's like ask myself what these things mean to me. And then I can now let me just compare how I'm seeing things to how Wade's seeing things. And then how can we learn off of each other versus here's your score, buddy.
7.8.
You said 7.2.
Well, it went up.
Check the tape.
It went up.
It went up in the last 20
'cause
minutes.
You're making some valid points, bud.
So this is anyway, I just think if we get back to the campfire at the end of the day, or we meet up with another tribe or culture, we sit down and we go, hey, what do you with the
puppies?
Well, those nice dogs. How do we feel this thing? Are we inspired by the drum beat, or are we inspired by children playing? Are we inspired by the artwork? How about nature's canvas?
Right.
It's like, hey, come with me. Let me show you this thing. And you're like, what is that?
Right.
Well, that's the same experience. It's like the smoke rises no matter what. The heat's taking, it's always coldest at the lowest level. No shit. Like this is how we experience things. And so I think there's a serious issue with me telling you what your spiritual relationship ought to be, or how it ought to look, or how you ought to quantify it, or where it is on the stupid scale.
Right.
Like, says who?
Right.
Says who?
Says who? That's funny, man. Yes, I'm not joking. Yesterday, there's a girl that I've known for a long time, and she's super awesome. And she reached out, and she was like, hey, she knew that I was in recovery. And she was like, she asked if I was spiritual or like a religion.
Right.
Spirituality. Where do you go? How do you do that? And I'm like, let her talk. She was in a bad spot because her father is pushing the Bible thing, right? And I get it because my grandpa, I can relate. My grandpa was that way.
He is from Tennessee.
He is from Tennessee.
Just kidding.
He's a 10 OC. You know what I'm saying? Out of this, never mind. So he knew the Bible back, and he's a great man. But it was like he pushed it, and it was like, if it ain't that way, no way. And I'm like, man. And she's like, and she was bringing this up. I'm like, hey, I can relate to that. Like, I get it. And I was like, because she wants to go a different way, right? She wants the whole questioning and spirituality thing and whatever. And she's like, and we fight a lot about that because he's really hammering it down. But she's like, he's a great guy. And I'm like, I get it. A lot of people are like that. And I was like, it's funny that my grandpa and a lot of guys I knew in that circle, right? It's like they're playing God instead of following God, right? Like, why are you telling, like, I get you're coming from a good spot, but
say that again.
You're really judgmental about, like, you're playing God instead of following him.
Okay.
And that's heavy, man. Like, cause like, if I'm pushing my stuff on you, I'm doing that. Even if I know what's best for you, how do I know what you need to do to get to that wherever you need to get to? And it's like, it's like, and that's really helped me. Cause I talked to Joe last night about when I got sober, man. And if you had a problem with drinking, and you were not drinking and you weren't in recovery, you're fucked. Don't talk to me.
Just black and white.
I'm not gonna be so black and white.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't realize how judgmental I was.
But you're just displacing what's important to you onto somebody else.
Right.
It's true for you.
Right.
True
right.
as your name.
Right.
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 So that's simple, but yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and I think that's where a lot of
that
doesn't have to happen. It's unnecessary. Like, hey, like, whatever, Buddha, religion, whatever, like, this is such a good thing. This is a really good idea to follow. I'll leave it at that.
But hold on, even there, it's like, here's what I'm doing. Here's the results producing in my life.
There you go. See?
Tell me what you're doing. Tell me the results it's producing in your life.
Right.
And then if we want to learn from each other, we're going to learn from each other.
Right.
But
there you go.
The second
It's way
there's
better put
a
than what I was putting.
no, it's the same thing. But the second there's a here's the way it is.
Yeah.
It's maybe it's just rebellion, whatever. In my case,
Whatever. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Is where things always. That's where conflict happens. That's where all that crap happens.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it doesn't have to happen that way.
Well, and even, I guess more importantly, how well does it work? It just doesn't work.
It just doesn't
and
work.
then I also see that, like as I go through the day, it's like it never did me any good for somebody to give me the answer before I was living it or learning it. So you're going to, let's say a child, or you at 4 years old, God's going to take care of me, or whatever it is, or a teenager. It's like, well, here's the answer to that. It's like, I never learned that way.
Mm.
I can maybe now ask and try to understand from somebody else.
Right.
Okay. But the real lessons is like, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Do it.
Yep.
And let's look at the options, and then let's learn from each outcome.
That's, dude, and I'm to this exact point in my life. That's a great example of what good sponsorship does. Because, like, when COVID hit.
Well, and not again, for the broader sense, friendship,
yeah.
whatever,
Yep.
mentorship.
Yeah, mentorship. Because,
Yeah.
because with, like, the AA thing, like, it's been a long time since I've been, like, in the fellowship, right? And I'm like, there's other paths that I've taken, some stuff that I've tried figuring some stuff out, and I've always kept in contact with Joe, right?
Right.
And he's never once, man, been like, hey, like, if you like what you have to do. It's never been like that.
Right.
Never judging what I'm doing, because he's done it.
Yeah, sure.
And that has been the best thing, and because that's why I'm coming. That's why I'm back. Because it's like, okay, whatever
Yeah.
I had to go
Just
through.
resume. It's like
Just-
pause.
yep.
Hey, I'm going to dedicate some to this.
Yep.
Resume. That's it.
This is what I do now. If there was a, hey, you have to do this, who knows if I'd even considered it.
Right. And the only pushback I've ever had on that myself too is like, it's like, oh, I haven't talked to Joe in 4 months. It's like, wait, time out.
Right.
Now don't completely detach
For sure.
from
For sure.
my friends, my fellowship, people keeping me accountable.
And that's
whatever.
that's part of it. Like you're just talking about, like, it doesn't have to be sponsorship. It's friendship. It's all that. I've created such a good friendship with Joe that, like, he's like, he even told, like, it was so awesome. Like, it signed off, like, because I was like, man, like, why am I not as involved as I would? Like, what's wrong with me when I feel better? And I'm not just, like, not involved doing nothing. Like, there's a lot of other things that I'm doing. But it's like, he even told me, he was like, dude, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you go and get fucked up again. Like, I love you. And I was like, whew, that's some heavy shit, right? But by doing this stuff, like, the friendships was so strong that I was like, that ain't what I want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, going, okay. And then when it was time for me to really, and it could just be as simple as I just didn't want to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But that passed.
Yeah.
And I'm still in it. And it's come back. And that's such a beautiful,
And then here's
powerful
the other
thing.
Yeah. Kudos to that. But in anything somebody wants to do, it's in the day. Am I willing today?
Right.
Am I willing to work on the writing today? Am I willing to practice it? Am I willing to go to the gym today? Am I willing to call a friend today? Am I willing to stop at a meeting? Whatever it is I have to do. Am I willing to pause when life
What do we do?
knocks on the door? Oh,
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
sit
that's
there with my
favorite.
eyes closed.
That's
Yeah,
my favorite thing.
yeah, yeah. Love you, buddy.
Love you, bub.
Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
And then
Look at that, that's
I'm
perfect
gonna
time.
get you back. We'll do some more discussions and just because I think obviously you, like I say, you're you're one of the coolest dudes I know. Aside from the music, aside from you're just genuine.
Thank you.
You're a genuine, authentic person, friend, and I don't want to talk to fake, shallow people. I mean, I want to.
I get it.
And also, it's like, who wants to listen for an hour and 20 minutes to what?
Right. Real.
I want to listen to you.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it, dude. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for staying tuned in. We'll get back to more Rephetic podcasts.
This is really cool what you're doing, but I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
To know who we are, and where we're going, we must know how we arrived here. Welcome to Rephetic, a revolutionary study of the Great Pyramid, which promises to rewrite civilization's history